This morning we're going to read about one of the first kings of Israel. You know, the children of Israel, there was a period of time when they had judges who would help lead them and guide them, especially in times of trouble. And a time came when they decided they wanted to be like other nations and have a king. And the first of those kings was King, does anyone remember? King Saul. And then the next king is perhaps the most famous of all, and that was King David, yes. And then David's son became king, and that was King Solomon. Yes, so there was Saul, David, and Solomon. And today we're going to read about Solomon, who was made king to be there sitting on the throne of his father David. And it starts with a prayer, because the Lord comes and speaks to King Solomon just as he was beginning his reign. So this is the first book of Kings, chapter 3, verses 5 and following. At Gibeon, the Lord appeared to Solomon in a dream by night. Imagine being sound asleep and enjoying perhaps a very pleasant dream, and then the Lord comes and speaks to you. God himself talks to you in a dream. And this is what happened to Solomon. And God asked Solomon, "What shall I give you?" Have you ever played that game? What would you wish for if you could have anything you wanted? Would it be riches? Would it be money? Would it be a beautiful home? We have lots of things we might want. We may have many wishes, but what would we want and ask the Lord for if we could have anything we wanted? Well, this is the kind of question that the Lord asked Solomon. And this is Solomon's answer. Solomon said, "You have shown great mercy to your servant David, my father, because he walked before you in truth and righteousness and in uprightness of heart with you. And you have continued this great mercy for him, and you have given him a son." And here he's referring to himself. "You have given David a son to sit on his throne as it is this day. Now, O Lord my God, you have made your servant," which is how he speaks of himself, "you have made your servant king in the place of my father David. But I am a little child." How little do you think Solomon was when he had this dream and he was speaking to God? He was actually a grown man, but he's calling himself a little child. And if we look around the room, we might see a little child, perhaps more than one little child. Imagine a grown-up saying, "I'm just like you, a little child." And what's Solomon saying? He says, well, compared to God, even the oldest, wisest of people is just a child. We're all the Lord's children, aren't we? So Solomon says, "I am a little child. I do not know how to go in or how to go out." Solomon was given this great responsibility. He is now king over all the people. Does he know how to be a king? Well, maybe a little bit, but really, compared to the wisdom he needs, he knows nothing at all. And so Solomon says, "And your servant is in the midst of your people, whom you have chosen, a great people, too numerous to be numbered or counted. Therefore," and this is his wish, "therefore give to your servant a heart that hears." Give to your servant a listening heart. That's a way of saying, give me a heart that is open to what you, O Lord, have to teach me. Give your servant a listening heart that hears, to judge your people, that I may discern between good and evil. Because what do we need to know more than anything else is the difference between what's good and what's evil. For who is able to judge this great people of yours? So this is what he's asking for. He's not asking for riches, for fame, for great wealth, but he's asking for a heart that hears, a listening heart. Do you have a listening heart? Do you have oh good, you have a listening heart. Well, here's a picture of King Solomon. We have a couple of pictures today. This is King Solomon. And here is a picture of one of his great judgments. It's rather one of the famous ones, where there's two mothers who have this argument. There's one baby, and each mother says, "This is my baby." The other mother says, "This is my baby." And because Solomon has a listening heart, he was able to hear what the Lord would say to him, to discern good from evil, and he saw the goodness of the true mother and made sure that the true mother got to have her baby so that her baby was not taken away from her. So we have another picture. Solomon became so wise because he asked for this listening heart that people from around the world came to honor him. And this is a picture of the Queen of Sheba, this beautiful and famous queen. Even she came to give gifts to Solomon and to honor him because of Solomon's great wisdom. So, this can be a lesson for us. We have many things we want, so many wishes and desires and hopes. But most of all, we should hope to have a good heart, a heart that listens, and a heart that can tell the difference between good and evil so that we can choose the good. Amen.